This is the Pike. It's a weapon you can purchase from the in-game shop for 700 francs. Only the infantry class is able to use it. The Pike only has one method of attacking, that being its thrust. The thrust has a very thin and short-lasting hitbox. You'll need to play in first person in order to use it effectively. Fortunately, the Pike sports the largest melee range in the game, allowing you to poke at zombies without having to worry about being scratched or being grabbed. Aim far above the top left of a zombie's head, and thrust right before they actually step within the range of the weapon. Since you'll be in first person most of the time, take into account as to where zombies can appear from all the time, and always look around the area you're in. Keep in mind, you don't have to force yourself into first person the entire time. You can zoom out if need be. If you only play in third person, make sure your shift lock is on, and aim your cursor far above the top right of a zombie's head, since the weapon has a limited angle as to how high up and how low down it is able to reach. If a zombie is too far above or too far below, go into first person in order to attack them. The Pike's biggest downside is that you lose access to a gun. You must be fighting on the front lines the entire time to create space for the rest of your team. Back away if you begin to get overwhelmed or if your team needs to move to a different location. The Pike will also slow your foot speed down while equipped. Unequip the Pike when moving to a different spot or when attacking spread out zombies. In the in-game shop, the description of the Pike claims that it can only hit one zombie at a time. This is not true. As of the release of the Vardaghus remaster, under normal conditions, the Pike is able to hit 3 zombies simultaneously. It also comes with a hidden feature. For each zombie you successfully kill in a single thrust, the penetration value increases by 1. For example, in a group of 7 shamblers, if you manage to kill 2 of them with 1 thrust, your next thrust will be able to damage the 5 remaining. But if the next thrust does not kill any of the zombies, the penetration value will return to 3. In maps that force zombies into a singular area, such as La Haye Saint, Tyrolean Village, Cobb, and Copenhagen, the compact areas allow the Pike to truly shine. Against zappers, the Pike will only deal 38.5 damage instead of 50. Just hit the head. In normal mode, the resistance isn't much of a problem. They might need an extra hit to the head or 2 to kill them. Only in hardcore will this be a notable issue. Due to the increased amount of zombie spawns, you'll need to first clear out any nearby shamblers and runners first, and then deal with the zapper. Bait their attack first, and then continuously puncture their head until they die. In the presence of bombers, do not bother poking them. Even though the Pike gives you decent range to explode bombers without knocking you down, it comes at the cost of your HP. Every HP loss brings you closer to being killed by a Zapperax, makes it a few seconds faster for runners to kill you, etc. Preserve your HP as much as possible. Either bait zombies into exploding themselves, or have the gunners on your team deal with them. The only time you should melee bombers is if they're behind a wall. The range of the Pike allows you to safely poke bombers through objects without the risk of hurting yourself. In the presence of igniters, you do not have any answer to them if they're outside your range. Run away from the area that it lands at to avoid being burnt alive. If possible, position yourself near the area that they'll emerge from in order to kill them before they see a survivor. This is more helpful if you stand around a corner where zombies emerge from, causing the undead to lose health over time. During officer charges, the description of the charge effect claims that the damage increases tenfold should you use the Pike. This is also not true, it only triples. Your damage will increase from 50 to 150. This also applies to the bayonet. The Pike sacrifices the advantages of shooting high-priority targets from afar for powerful frontline aggression. Its potentially high penetration coupled with its long melee range, as well as its damage output, can be what your team needs to give themselves time to shoot other targets, like bombers and igniters. It will take time to get used to the Pike's hitbox and footspeed penalty, but with enough experience, these problems can become irrelevant. Of course, if your team is alright with holding the front line and needs more help with shooting bombers and igniters, a gun is the much better pick. Either way, the choice is yours. If you do decide to use the Pike, have fun.